Hello everyone and welcome back to day 12 of Blindfold chess training, and in this one we're doing something different. So for the past, I would say 6 days, we've been doing games, opening puzzles, endgame puzzles. The first 6 days we did some more just looking at how the pieces move and the board vision. Today what we're doing something slightly different, just to switch it up, give ourselves a break. We're doing some calculation training. Now this is more, it's less tailored towards blindfold specifically, but it's more calculation based, and it will definitely still help you in your blindfold chess journey. So we're going to start with, this book is by Jacob Agard. It's called Grandmaster Preparation, Calculation Training. And we're gonna just go through some exercises. So I'm gonna be doing them with you. So first off, we have this one. We have these puzzles from 1 to 6, and we'll just try them out. So you can pause the video and try and do it with me. I'm going to do them one at a time. I'm going to start with 1. You can pause the video, do it, and then I'll go through the answer, or I'll go through what I think is the answer, because I will be solving it myself, and then we'll keep doing it like that. And we'll go for about 30 minutes today, see how we go, and yeah, try your best. So this one is Goloid versus... This is Goloid Gerzo, Philadelphia, 2011. So this position, we have how many pieces do we have each side? So white has bishop knight, we have bishop knight, we have a queen on f6, 2 rooks, rook. Okay, it's equal material from what I see, but black may have an attack here, because their knight is on h4, bishop is on b7, the knight is hanging. The knight is hanging, you can take it. If it was black, if it was white's move, they would take it. And then if black played queen g5, maybe just rook g4, that's good. But I'm seeing it's black's move. They can play maybe, how is queen f3? Look at checks captures threats, no good checks really. Knight f3 is a move. Knight f3 is also a move. And if bishop takes f3, you have queen takes f3. That seems pretty good. Going for checkmate on h1 or g2. So knight f3 is seeming promising. Knight f3... Yeah, knight f3 looks good. Another move that catches my eye is just queen f3. Queen f3, bishop takes f3, knight takes f3. King h2 or king g1, you play knight takes d4. And you take the queen, and you're up so much material there. So here we have to decide why knight f3... I see. Okay, if knight f3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, white can include the move e4. And this is very important if you're thinking about this. So e4 blocks the bishop's diagonal with the queen. So I don't think it's right. I think it's actually queen f3. Because after bishop takes f3, knight takes f3, now the king is forced to move. So king g2, let's say, you play knight takes d4, knight takes c2. And in that resulting position, you are up how much material? You've sacrificed a queen, but you've taken a bishop, you've taken a rook, and you've taken a queen. So you're up too much material. So I think black is completely winning after the move queen f3. That's my solution for 1. Let's see number 2. Okay. Number 2, we'll go 2, 4, 5, and then 3. We'll just go in order. Okay. This one is Moscow 2012 between Romanko and Shulakova. Sounds pretty cool. This is black to play. Okay, what are the moves black has in this position? Now, straight away, I'm noticing I can potentially play rook takes c5. The point is, if rook takes c5, I have bishop to a7, pinning the rook on c5. Well, it's a skewer of the rook and the king. But if they play knight takes c5 there, knight takes c5, bishop a7. But there I don't see a win, because they can always plug in the knight with b4. That doesn't look very promising, actually. What else do we have here? Now another thing I see is bishop a4, pawn a4, and bishop d6. So if you're really trying to understand what I'm saying, like really try and visualize what happens after each exchange. So if I take bishop takes a4, I take the knight, the pawn will recapture, let's say. B takes a4. Now this rook is pinning this bishop to the rook, and if I play the move bishop d6, I would hit the bishop. If the bishop takes my bishop on d6, I'll take the rook. But in that resulting position, they have the move bishop e3. That defends. Aha, but there what I can do is I can take the rook. Rook takes c1, bishop takes c1, and then I have the move bishop c5, attacking the rook and pinning it to the king. So I think the move is bishop a4, b takes a4, and then bishop d6. But now that I'm thinking about it, there they have rook fc2. So maybe it's not that. Maybe it's bishop a4, ba4, rook c5, rook c5, rook c5, rook c5, and then bishop a7 is what I was thinking. But then they have rook c8 check, king h7. The rook is still pinned, that's good. But we are not winning there by any means. They'll play king g2. And if we trade, I'm not convinced. I think bishop a4 is the right first move. B takes a4. And there it's a bit tricky. Aha, I do see something promising. Okay, now I'm seeing bishop takes a4, b takes a4, and this is all calculation, by the way. It's just trial and error, so if you're working on this on your own, you can do the same thing. B takes a4, rook c5, no, bishop takes a4, b takes a4. How about the move bishop a7 instead of bishop e6? Rook c2. Then I play rook takes c5, rook takes c5. Now the bishop is pinning this one. No, I'm actually not sure. Okay, let's check it out. Hopefully we don't reveal the solution. Let's see what the actual answer is. Oh, it's not telling me. Queen f3 was right for the first one. You can see at the bottom of my screen. And for the second one, black missed a direct win after getting the first move right. They played bishop a4, b takes a4, bishop a7. That is the move we were calculating. It is important to throw this move in. In the game, black played knight b4. Okay, they played it wrong. So it is bishop a7. And after rook fc2, that's what we calculated. Knight b4. Knight b4. Knight b4 and knight d3. Okay, so what they're saying is, it was actually what I did calculate for a little bit, that last bit of calculation. Bishop a4, ba4, bishop a7. If you can visualize that, you're pinning the rook to the other rook, and the bishop is in the way. They can't play bishop a7 because you take on c1. Now what they're going to play is, they're going to play rook fc2, bringing this rook out of the pin of this diagonal, a7 to g8, and also supporting the bishop. Now, what he missed in the game, it was rook c5, which is what I calculated. Rook c5, and he said knight b4. And then knight d3 is winning. This is the move I was actually I was thinking knight b6 instead. But yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Knight b4 there. Now knight d3 is threatened. Now if you play king g2 in that position, that's what I'm wondering. Because it doesn't look obvious still. Let's see. Okay, they're saying this is a tricky one actually, which is good. It's really helping our blindfold skills here. They're saying after bishop a4, ba4, bishop a7, and then they're saying bishop a7 is forced. They're saying rook fc2, rook c5, knight b4. But then just king g2. Knight d3, you give a check. So I may be reading something wrong, or is this solution wrong? Bishop a4, ba4, bishop a7, rook fc2, knight b4. Oh, okay, knight b4 immediately. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. So instead of bishop a4, so bishop a4, ba4, bishop a7, rook fc2, knight b4 immediately. Aha, yeah, this makes a lot more sense. You're attacking the rook twice. The bishop can't take because it's pinned. Yeah, and that's right. So knight b4 immediately is the correct answer. That's a tough one. So if you didn't get that, I didn't get it either. So it's all good. We'll do number 3 now. This is black to play. Pause the video, try and solve it. I will try and solve it as well. Okay, what's going on here? Material count, 2 rooks. 2 rooks. There is a knight on e3. What is the pawn count? White is up 1 pawn. Yeah. No, it's equal. It's equal. It's equal, but black has this nice attack going. And I'm already looking at ideas like rook g3, rook g3. Rook g3, and it doesn't work. Rook h4. Because you have to look at sacrifices here. You have to look for checks. Like something like... Okay, how is rook h4? Gh4, rook h2 check. You have to take the rook, and queen h4 is checkmate. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so the way I solve this one is just by brute force calculation. I see that rook h4 is a check. They're forced to take gh4. Now I wanted to really take on h4, but I can't at the moment because the king is defending. So let me deflect the king, rook h2. King h2 is forced, there's no other move. And after queen h4, that is checkmate. No. Oh god. Almost, yeah, I think it still wins. Yeah, it still wins. Queen, I almost hallucinated for a second. Queen h4, king g2. Then you have queen g3 check. King h1 is forced. And then king h3. Then queen h3 is checkmate. So that is correct. So you have to give queen g3 and then queen h2 is mate. I believe that's right, so I won't check that. Check it at the end. Okay, Navarra Ivanchuk and Wykonze, 2012. Let's do this one. This is black to play. Piece count. White has 2 rooks and how many pawns? Okay, it's about equal. And we are up in exchange essentially. We have a rook for a bishop. But their bishop is very strong. So now we have to find the move. And of course they're threatening our queen, so we don't want to lose the queen. Now what move can we play here? We can play the yawn move. It's the most elite move in chess. Okay, we don't want to lose the queen. This one is not a obvious one. There's no obvious win. There's no checks that work. Captures. You can't play rook before your queen hangs. So you have to bring the queen somewhere. Now a move I might play in a game is something like queen c4. Purely for the reason I don't see any tactical win. But something is telling me to search a little bit deeper. Queen f3 is also a move. But queen f3, I don't want him to really take on a6 and give me checks on a8. That's why I prefer queen c4. But this one is this one, I don't see any obvious move. Oh, there is one idea, which is insane if it works, but it might work. Just queen takes a2, rook takes a2, you sacrifice the queen, you play c takes b4, now you have 2 connected pass pawns. This bishop is out of the game. I guess they can try rook c2. b3, rook c8 check, king e7, rook c7 check, king f6, rook f7 check, king e5, rook f5 check, king d4, rook f4 check, king c3, and I'll push the pawn to queen. That is actually a very nice idea. I don't know if I'll play it in a game though. But it's definitely an idea. I would choose between queen c4 or queen a2. We'll have a look now at the solution. I'm assuming the solution would be queen a2, even though it's weird. Yeah, rook takes h4 was right on the other one. And the calculation was right. Yeah, I played rook h4. Gh4, queen h4, h4, rook h2, mate. Yeah, I think both win. Okay, they're saying queen e4 is the best. Queen e4, white does not have time for bc5. So let's have a look. Queen to e4, so here. So not queen c4, queen e4. They said they don't have time for bc5 because of rook b1 check. Yeah, actually that makes a lot more sense. That's actually quite a nice move, and you take on b4. That is the correct move. Queen e4, and then you get rook b1 check as well. That's very nice. This one, it was rook takes h4 here. I played rook h2 first, but just queen h4 is winning. But if I play rook h2, then queen h4, king g2, queen g3 is also a win. Yeah, it's also winning. King h2, queen h3, but both win. Okay. So let's do number 5. Okay, for this one, it looks pretty obvious. It's some type of queen sacrifice. It's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, maybe not. Queen h6, king h6. There's no clear win there. Because rook h3, just king g7, and you don't have any checkmate. So I don't want to rush it. Why can't I play rook h3? Yeah, rook h3, and if they ever try anything like queen c1 check, which looks like their only active move there to defend against the checkmate, we play rook takes c1, rook takes c1, king f2, rook c2 check, knight e2. Everything is defended. I guess they can play rook g2 there, but rook g2, king g2, rook takes e2, and king f1 should win. So I think it's simply rook h3. But there is rook takes g2. No, but then knight takes g2. Yeah. That should win. Rook h3 should win. That's my answer for that one. Number 6. Number 6 looks like this queen is almost trapped. It also looks like this king is also stuck a little bit. So the first moves I'm considering, first of all, the material count. It's equal. But probably, yeah, it's equal. White just has a better position. It's white to move. What is the move here? See, my brain straight away goes for like forcing moves. So already I was considering, I think I know the move. I would think the move in this position is knight e6, fe6, queen e6, and your position is so dominant. You're going to play bishop c4 next, checkmate the king. They can't castle. I guess there they have bishop d5. So knight e6, fe6, queen e6, bishop d5. Ah, we also have this. But that's not very clear. I was thinking of knight h7 actually, weirdly. The point is, if you don't do anything, I'm going to take on f6 and take on h8. But they can play knight takes... Oh no. Yeah, knight takes h7, bishop takes h7 and g6. That's not working. But there I have queen h6. But then bishop f6. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It's not very clear. Bishop b5 is a move. Bishop a6 is a move. Aha, I got it. Okay. And I think the way I got it is by process of elimination. The other moves didn't work. So the move I think it is now is bishop b5. What's the point of bishop b5? If I put the bishop on b5, really visualize this, and this is why I'm not drawing arrows or anything, because this is blindfold chess training, and this is also why, yeah, you have to really try and visualize where the pieces go. If the bishop is on b5, it pins the knight to the king. Now, the most obvious way to get out of it is by castling. Let's say they castle there. I play bishop takes knight. Now, if knight takes knight, queen h7 would be mate. They can't play knight takes knight. If they play queen takes knight, I play knight b6, which is a fork between the rook and the knight. And if they don't do anything, bishop b5, let's say they don't do anything, then I will simply play knight b6 anyway. And I just have too much pressure on the position. No, but knight b6 they take. What am I saying? Bishop b5, if they don't, let's say they play h6 there. Huh. Also, I just realized they had bishop c6 as well. Yeah, that's actually hard then. Could it be bishop? No, this is a tricky one. This is definitely a tricky one. So I would suggest you guys keep calculating if you haven't done it. If you've done it, well done. You can skip a little forward in the video. I'll go through a few more. But this one has me stuck, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing through for about 5 more minutes. After about 15 minutes, a puzzle gets a bit... there's no point after 15 minutes, because at that point, it's better just to look at the solution and figure out your flaws from the solution. Because in a real game, this is all about implementing in a real game. And if you're spending like 20-30 minutes on a move in a real game, it's not very applicable. So, knight f7, king f7. I don't think that works. Queen e6, you just take it. Nothing there. Knight h7 was interesting, but just knight h7. Bishop h7 and... seems dubious. I guess there they have bishop e4. Pitting our bishop, and we don't have anything there. I would really like a bishop on b6. That's what I really like. You know what? I haven't considered the simple capture dc5, and I think it's actually a very good move. dc5, knight c5. dc5, knight c5, knight c5, bishop c5. It's good for black. I don't like that for us. Bishop e5 is my first instinct, but bishop c6 comes and that's not good. else is there in this position? Knight e6. I think I would play knight e6 in a game. The point of knight e6, fe6, queen e6. You just have such a dominant position. But bishop d5 comes. What can you do there? If you have a good move there, I will accept this as correct. I don't see a good move there, so I can't force myself to play knight e6, even though it's the tempting move. Can't do it. What about bishop a6, rook b8? No, but that doesn't do anything. Tricky. Honestly, I think it's knight h7. Knight h7, bishop h7, g6. I think it's just a free pawn. As risky as it looks. No, it's not a free pawn. What am I saying? Knight h7, bishop h7, and then bishop e4. I already went through this. Loses. And e4? What about e4? The point is not e5, the point is to block this d5 square. It also isn't working. Tricky. I think in a game I would play bishop e5. But they would respond with bishop c6. Yeah, this is a tricky one, so I'm going to look at the solution for this one. If you guys did it, well done to you. Bishop g6. Bishop g6. Oh my god, I didn't even consider that. By the way, did I do number 5? Number 5 I thought rook h3, but maybe it wasn't right. Wait a second. 5 was black to play. Oh, my bad. 5 was black to play. If it was white to play, yeah, rook h3 wins. I was like, it was so obvious. Apparently, if it was black to play, you play queen c4. And the point is after rook h3, you play queen d4 check. Yeah, that makes sense. This one was bishop g3, which is an insane move. But now that I see it, makes a lot of sense. It's correct. Bishop g6. And if you play hg6, you take the rook. If you play fg6, you play knight takes e6, trapping the queen. It's a shocking move, but it's correct. So this is really where the visualization comes in. I couldn't solve this one personally, so if you did it, well done. Let's do a few more. This one is black to play, number 7. Let's go. Let's calculate. Immediately, I see the piece count, so rook, rook, we have rook, rook, knight, 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 queen, queen. How many pawns on each side? About equal. Black has one more pawn, but nothing to write home about. First move that comes to mind is queen a2. It's only check, only good check. There's also knight a3, knight d2. Knight d2 wins the game. No, almost. I was seeing stuff after knight d2 does not even come close to knight d2. I was seeing rook 1 takes d2, queen f1, and then you have to block with this knight, and then you take and it's mate. But after knight d2, you can take with the queen, the knight, or the other rook, so you're fine. Knight a3, nothing, king b2. What else? Queen a2, king a2. Nothing there. Huh. Nothing there, huh? Seems a bit suspicious. And now I know these ones are like insane, brilliant moves, so I have to be on the lookout. Like, moves like knight d4, that might not make sense, might be correct. Or knight e4. Because they do threaten checkmate. Knight e4 threatens knight c3. Mate. So knight e4, rook takes e4. No, there's nothing there. Knight e4, rook takes e4. I do see an idea. I'm thinking of the move queen c8. The point is I want to play knight a3 check, king takes b2, and queen c3. You're forced to play king c1, queen a1, king d2. Doesn't win anyway. Tough. Again, a tough one. Wow, these puzzles are extreme. This is why this is called Grandmaster Calculation. I know this book has been renowned for like, oh, it's extremely difficult, but it's really good for this one, because what we're trying to do, we're not trying to get them all right. We're not going to get them all right, but we're trying to really visualize the board. And this is really helping with that. Like, I'm seeing lines like, okay, knight a3, king takes b2, queen c6. Is there anything there? Okay, maybe there isn't, maybe there is. There's queen c3 checked threatened, but king c1 and nothing really there. No win. So it's good. Just looking at lines here and there. I don't see it. I do not see it. It's going to be something like crazy, like knight e4, rook e4, queen c6. I don't see 7. Hopefully it's not an obvious one. Yeah, it's not obvious at all. Not obvious at all. The move is rook c8. Making use of white's inability to defend the c2 square. Okay, I'm trying to visualize that actually. Okay. Knight a3 check, followed by knight a3, king takes b2, rook c8. No, that's wrong. E takes f6, knight a3, king b2, rook c2, king a1, knight c4. Queen e3, rook e4. Okay, let's see what they're saying. So they're saying rook c8 is the move. Very hard move to see, but okay, I get the point. The point is after ef6, you play knight a3 check, king takes b2, rook takes c2, king a1, and then knight c4. Knight c4 threatens queen a2 mate. And they stop it how? Queen e3, rook e4, king d8, knight c1, queen a3. So they're saying after that, so after rook c8, e takes f6, knight a3, king b2, rook takes c2, king a1, knight c4, queen e3 check, so queen back to e3 check, that's square. Rook to e4. There's no rook that can go on e4, so I don't know what they're saying there. Oh no, rook e4 check is the main line. King d8, knight c1, queen a3 is good. So essentially after there, rook e4 check, king d8, they play knight f1, knight c1 as a last ditch effort, and there we can play queen a3 with the threat of queen b2 mate, and that is winning. Wow, that's a super tough one. Let's finish it off. Last one, number 8. Let's try and get this one. This one, let's count the material. Bishop, knight, rook, 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 queen, queen. 3 pawns, 3 pawns, 3 pawns. Equal. Everything's equal. First move I see, queen takes h6, but then rook takes h6. And I don't see that as a win. There's also knight g7, king g7. Knight g7, king g7. Queen g5, oh no, queen g5 covered, of course. So I want to cut off this rook. This rook is defending this knight on h6. The rook is defending it on b6. So I think maybe knight g7 seems right. King g7. I play bishop c6. The point is I'm threatening the knight now with the queen. So let's say rook c6 would be losing. I'll take it. Rook c6, rook c6. So let's say they play after bishop c6, they play queen d6, defending the knight. Queen g5, they'll play queen g6. Ooh, that's a tricky one again. I think knight g7 is right. Knight g7, king g7. And I have to somehow do this. Queen f2 maybe? With the threat queen g3. But then f5? No, f5 is not possible. Bishop e6, queen g3. So knight g7, king g7, queen f2, Bishop e6, queen g3, king h7. Yeah, and that's not easy. It's not winning. So knight g7, king g7, bishop c6 is always an idea. But then just like queen f6 even, or queen e6. Huh. I do think bishop c6 is somewhere involved. I don't know where though. What if immediately bishop c6? Immediately bishop c6 also looks like it's good. Queen e6. Let's have a look. I think it's something to do with knight g7 and bishop c6. But let's see. Nope, rook takes c7. So he played g4 in the game. Rook c7, queen takes c7, queen g5, g6, queen takes h6, gh5, queen g5, black is mated. So what they're saying instead is rook takes c7, queen takes c7. Was it queen g5 there? Queen g5, g6, queen takes h6, and it's over. Okay, so this one was more clear than I thought. Just rook c7, queen c7. Rook c7, queen c7, queen g5, right? g6, queen h6, and yeah, black is mated. Makes sense. You can't stop the mate. Yeah, this one was quite obvious actually. I got confused by the last one, which was difficult. Rook c8 is a very hard, quiet move to find. But this one is quite easy. Just rook c7 and queen g5, and you deflect the pieces away. Okay, I think we'll call it there for today. I think it's been a good session of calculation. I did get quite a bit wrong, but I think it was helpful for you guys. You would have been attempting it on your own. Also, good tool to visualize the board really, because here we're not moving the pieces around. We're thinking in our minds of how to calculate this stuff. Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow.